welcome back to another episode of Outcasts to Icons. Now, I've had to start this episode here, which is much sooner than I'd expected, because something I just didn't see happening has happened, and Norman Millington has been sacked. We've been sacked as the manager of HIFK. This is, I mean, I can understand it maybe, well, I say I could understand it, considering how far into the season we weren't exactly that far off the higher end places, but I changed the tactic this month and things were looking a lot better, and then they've sacked us, which is a real pain in the arse. I don't know if we can actually show you the results or not. Let's just take a quick gander here. So as you can see, we played against top of the table MyPar and beat them 3-1. Really, really comfortable. Sorry, not top of the table. They were second in the table, I think. We absolutely smashed them. We went to a 4-4-2 diamond type of formation. I know a lot of you guys were suggesting that kind of thing, and it's the first chance I've actually had to implement it. And we were absolutely fantastic. We looked really, really good. Everything just worked in that game. The formation looked good. We had lots of shots on target. We scored 3 goals. I was happy. Happy days. It moved us up the table nicely. In the next game, we went away to JJK, and they were good, and we weren't too bad. It was only a 2-1 defeat. It was a close one away from home in a relatively tough game. The issue for this one, obviously, we had a man sent off, which didn't help, but that was much later on in this game. We tweaked a couple of things in this tactic that didn't quite work out for us so well in the first game, although we probably should have just stuck with it, which is why in our next game, after we lost this one, I reverted back to that type of system, basically, against FC IPA, and unfortunately, despite being the better team on the night, we ended up losing the game, which was frustrating as hell. They had 2 good chances and they put them both in the back of the net, and fair play to them for doing that, but I really don't think we deserved to lose this one. We were playing much better, as you can see. I mean, look at the stats. That's all you need to tell. You can clearly see that we're playing a lot better football, getting lots more shots on target, lots of possession. We're actually scoring goals now. We were just unlucky in this game, but unfortunately the damage has already been done, which is a real shitter, if I'm honest. The board clearly weren't particularly prepared to give us much time. Bear in mind, yeah, okay, we were 7th in the league, but we were literally 3 points off of 3rd. So, and then there was one team a point above them, so it was not exactly like it was we could have easily pulled this one back, and I'm really disappointed to see that happen, actually. But I guess that's what happens sometimes, isn't it? It's just a pain. But what I would say, looking on the sort of positive side to this, and I know that's really difficult, because I didn't expect this one to happen so early, really, but, it gives us, we now have a sort of system that we can implement when we go to our new club that will hopefully work a lot better for us from the very beginning, if that makes sense. So we won't have to be floundering quite as much like we were before. So hopefully, we will be able to find a new club. And what's going to happen in this episode is, of course, I'm going to be finding said new club, and we're going to sign up for it. Obviously, the thumbnail wouldn't have given anything away. I'm really sorry that that's happened. I feel really bad. It wasn't, I don't know, I felt that it was always going to be a tough one to find our first job while we sort of worked out a sort of tactic that we wanted to play, and that was always going to be a difficult thing, and we just didn't have time to make it work. It's all very well playing those friendlies, but unless you're playing competitive games, you don't know how well it's working, and I don't know, I felt we could have turned it around, but it's not happened. So we're going to go out, we're going to apply for jobs like I was doing before, and hopefully we're going to have a nice new job at the end of this episode. And of course, you're still going to get a live comment this episode. It'll just be our first game in charge of the new team, but hopefully we can use our new formation, the one we've been working on, that I'm quite pleased with, for that team, and hopefully pull them out of some trouble, or depends, we'll see who we take over at. So I'll join you guys when I've actually found ourselves a club, so I'll see you guys soon. Right guys, we are back. And as you can see, we have got ourselves a job. And I don't know how, I can't remember exactly what date it was when we actually got the sack. I don't think it was that long. I think we're all talking 2 or 3 weeks tops here, which is not bad going. So we did the usual, your holiday, you apply for any jobs basically. And we had, actually had a few more interviews than we did last time. I think our reputation, albeit, we've got relegated and then sacked, but we do seem to have a slightly higher rep, and I don't know whether that's maybe just because we've actually managed a team now, and the fact that we have been doing our coaching badges. Obviously, I don't know whether, if you get sacked while you're doing your coaching badges, does that mean it stops? Genuine question, because I know we haven't completed our coaching badges yet. We weren't supposed to until September, so hopefully that's not, put a dent in it there, but there you go. So basically, I applied, this is the 4th interview that we had, or the 3rd actually, sorry, what we're talking about. First interview we had was with a club in the Belgian 3rd tier called Winkle Sports, and I really wanted the job because they're called Winkle Sports. And Belgium 3rd tier wouldn't be too bad, actually. They were a semi-professional team. I thought, that's a decent amount. There was an amateur team that came in for me in the Danish 3rd tier, but I didn't want to manage an amateur club. I felt that we could do better than an amateur team, because it would just be, I wanted to make sure that we either went semi-professional or, if we could, professional, because of course HIFK was semi-pro. Now, so we didn't get the Winkle Sports job. We then got offered a job, offered an interview with a club in Malta, and that sounded awesome as well. That was one I was quite interested in as well. Because the great thing is, all of these ones, because we're in the summer, meant that the season hadn't started yet. So we'd actually get a proper, or at least somewhat of a pre-season, to actually embed a tactic before a season starts, which is good. Unfortunately, we didn't get the job in Malta, and I was really surprised at that. I thought we'd get that, but we didn't. We then went for an interview with Volna in the Belarusian league, and they were a professional club. We didn't get the job there, but we did also go for an interview with this lot, and this is Acuranus. Now, if anyone from Cyprus knows anything about them, then could you please drop it in? Now, I haven't had enough chance to look them up just yet, so I don't know much about them just yet. They're in the second division in Cyprus, so that's where we're managing, but you'll notice that they are a fully professional football club, which is actually in its own way incredibly impressive to be in the Cypriot second tier and be fully professional. So that's awesome. We're expected to try and basically battle against relegation this year, but we're at least at a professional football club now. So let's just take a little gander through what we've basically got. We'll just do this quickly because obviously we're going to do a game today. In fact, let's just see when our first game of the season is. So the first game is against Adonis, which is an amazing name for a football team as well. Another professional side. So there's obviously, is the Cypriot second division fully professional as well? Because that would explain a lot. So basically their league runs from September. Actually, the season starts really late, which means we've got a really good pre-season now time to bed in and try and get our tactic working. That is beautiful. I think this could be a team where we really do something. I'm genuinely excited about this, guys. I really hope you are as well. I feel like our first little excursion into management was a little bit of a hiccup for us. I'm hoping that this is where we can start forging our path forward. You know, we're in the second tier. We've got low expectations of us already, and anything we do will be overachieving, I feel. So that's good, and I think we're going to have a really successful time here. Plus, we get to go to Cyprus, and Cyprus is a lovely place. My dad used to live in Cyprus, and he said it was an absolutely brilliant place. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Right, so let's take a look. That's the first game is against Adonis, but that's not till September, so I've got just over 2 months to sort of bed in my tactic, which means this is going to take bloody ages to record again. But hey, you know, I'm putting in the work because this is an important series and I really am enjoying it so far. And I really hope you guys are as well. So please do leave a like if you are enjoying the series so far, even though we've been sacked. But I did say that would happen from time to time, and no doubt you know what that one's like when you try these types of saves. Right, so let's take a little look at the squad then. Do we have an assistant opinion on them, perhaps? Yes, we do. Okay. That is a particularly small team. Some players that stand out. A decent young winger here. What about the other 21s? Wow. Okay, is that because we've not fully... Oh, we've not set up our manager stuff yet. Okay, that's something I'm going to have to go away and do, basically. But hopefully we're going to do that. So there you go. If you know anything about Acuranus or how to pronounce them, am I saying it right? Is it Acuranus or Acuranus? I don't know. Leopetriou. Acuranus Leopetriou? Yeah. If you are a fan of them, then awesome. So that's cool. Also, I was looking through my analytics the other night, and I noticed that I'd had a reasonable amount, to be able to call it not a coincidence, of views from Greenland. That's amazing. So if you are the person that watches my videos from Greenland, let me know. That's awesome. Because, yeah, there's just something to note there. So, guys, basically, I'm going to join you on the day of our first fixture, basically, in the league with this team. Hopefully, we'll have lots of time to sort everything out, get ourselves a good tactic working, play lots of friendlies to get the match fitness out. We're a professional team now, which means we can look at fitness coaches. We can really start getting our league going. I think, if anything, that sacking was a blessing in disguise, because that club, they were starting to, like... The players all hated me. They all wanted to leave. We can have a fresh start here and do things right because, you know, I've never done that type of save before in this kind of detail. So I think we can do things the right way now in Cyprus. So, guys, join me in a sec on the first day of the season for our first game in charge of Acuranus. I'll see you guys in a minute. Bye-bye. Right, guys, we are back, and it is the first day of the season. And as you can see, our friendlies have kind of gone a bit hit and miss. Now, the issue with being who we are, essentially, is that when you're arranging friendlies, I usually like to arrange friendlies against weaker sides. That way you build a bit of confidence, you get a chance to test out some tactics. Now, the problem is, because we are who we are, it's difficult to find, like, we couldn't find, basically, any much smaller teams. There was a couple of teams that we could play from the slightly lower division, which isn't actually put in the game, but still, it's been very tough. But things have looked a bit more promising over the last couple of matches. Now, the problem is I've brought in a few players just to strengthen some areas. But I also had to give a lot of contracts to some of our youth players just because we had such a tiny squad. And it was like our entire under-18s and under-21s were all greyed out, basically. And most of the time we barely had like 12. I think at one point we had 12 players. So we've had to bring in a few, all sort of 30 pluses, except for one striker who I've kind of broke the bank a little bit for, and I hope that will pay the dividends, since he is now on like £600 a week, which is a lot, I admit, but I just hope he can be good enough for us. So we're just going to quickly take you through that. Now, as you can see, like we won a first couple, we're okay. I think I was in charge for this one, but then we kind of went on a poor run, but then we sort of brought it back. We got a good win there and a very good win here, where we actually started to look a little bit better, and the tactic is coming together nicely. This is the tactic I was using in the last one as well. The diamond wide formation with the 2-man up top, using a halfback. I've got one winger on support, one on attack, because we've got the supporting side here, and I want to make sure that we've got, basically, you see what I mean while I'm doing it. But if you've got little ideas, then feel free to drop them in. We are obviously expected to fight bravely against relegation. Unfortunately, there are 4 relegation places in a 14-team league. This is going to be an incredibly tough season for us. Let's make no mistake. Let's quickly just show you as well. And as you can see, we're already struggling with huge money troubles just from the very beginning, and it was really difficult to bring in. I brought in some players on a free. Basically, that's what we did. We got in. Who did we get in? That was me. Basically, we brought in 4 players. We brought in João Moraes to be a left back, decent enough player. I mean, obviously for this level, I'm talking. We are talking very, very small amounts. Quite a few Portuguese. We got João Moraes, so he's come in. We brought in Cara, because originally I was actually looking for a right back, but when I saw João Moraes, I thought, no, we've got to pick both of these guys up, and hopefully, just maybe they'll do just enough to get us enough to stay out. Lugero, I actually brought him in to play our defensive midfielder, and as you can see, he's good at that. Unfortunately, he's not so good at being a halfback, so I might put him as an anchor man instead. I've not entirely decided yet. Like, if you can look, he's sort of like 4.5 star as an anchor man, but as a halfback, he's sort of more 1 star. So I'm just wondering, perhaps as an anchor man, he might be more. In fact, we might even try that before this first game of the season. And lastly, this is the guy I was more excited about. This is Christos Calivas. He's the only one that was sort of like of a reasonable, he's 27. He's not super old, whereas the other ones are all 30 plus. This one, I think we could get a couple of seasons out of the Greek man. And, he's not brilliant, but he's not that bad either. We've got good match fitness because we've played some friendlies. The tactic, it's not fluid yet, but it's certainly looking a lot better. We're getting there now. Obviously, we're not going to, move some stuff around a little bit. Tavro, the problem is we're still lacking in certain areas of this team. We really are just lacking, and that is a problem. We've got some solid players. I mean, if you actually look at our squad depth now, it's a little bit better, but there's still certain areas like, look, not so good. And in the shadow striker area, it was just we couldn't find anyone that we could afford. We were really up against it. Hopefully, we can just make it work. But I just really think we're going to be in for a struggle. But sometimes the struggle is half the fun. Right, we're going to switch him to an anchor man, because it's so obvious how much he'd rather play there. So I think that might be the best option for us, basically. We brought in a couple of the youngsters. They're going to get there. I don't know. It's going to be tough, but then it always was. We've set everything up quite well, and I just think that we're going to have to do our best. We're not expected to stay up. We're actually expected to fight bravely against relegation, as long as we don't embarrass ourselves. I think it's going to give us a season to work on our tactic again with sort of a no-pressure environment. It's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I'm hoping that we can sort of start to iron out some of the little flaws in this tactic and really start to come up with something good that's going to actually be a success for us in the long term. So, obviously, I'm recording quite a few episodes today, guys, so, just bear that in mind with your comments. Don't get angry at me because I'm not immediately doing what you say the next day, because it just doesn't happen like that. You cannot do that. It just wouldn't work for video recording. Like, I've seen some people complaining about the fact I haven't listened to their particular tactic. Well, maybe give me a chance to actually do that instead of commenting the day after a video goes out when I quite clearly couldn't have recorded another one in that time anyway. So yeah, I'm trying my best, that's all I can say. So, we don't want this episode to go on for too long, although it's obviously going to be a little bit longer just because we've got so much stuff happening. Norm's settling in Cyprus quite nicely. I'm hoping that we'll be more successful here than we were in our previous job. Like, we won a few matches in the other job. I think we got... The problem, I think it was mostly to do with, the squad harmony didn't help, whereas here, we're rocking a nice squad harmony. Everything's going well. Any conversations I've had with the players have always been really positive, and I'm liking that. Take a look at our under 18s and 21s. Like, you can see that, it's actually given us a whole new load of greyed out players, unfortunately. But our under 21s, there's at least some signs of quality coming through here. Like, these guys look like they could be quite decent. I'm looking forward to trying those guys out, basically. That's the sort of idea. Anyway, let's do this. Let's get into the match preview. Now, they're playing a back three, which is going to be interesting. I don't know. It's really difficult to tell. So Tavro, Calivas, Christodoulou, Moraes, Cipriano, Lugero, Constantinou, Sotiriou, Jesus. Themistocleus, Kara, and of course Ziyech in goal. We've got some other players to come off the bench potentially. They're not all awful. We're doing okay for match fitness too, which is what I'm happy with that. We're ready to go. A lot of it will be sort of done as a kind of, we'll do a lot of this on the fly. Now we are, I believe, looking at the season preview, if I remember, one of the sort of favourites to go down, because we are newly promoted. As far as I can make out, we're a newly promoted team, which makes me wonder why they need a new manager. But maybe he left to join a different club, I don't know. Perhaps a control approach isn't even the best one. Maybe we should go a bit more counter-attack, I don't know. I'm just trying to work on things on the fly, you know. With HIFK, we were one of the stronger teams in that league, so it made more sense to be on the offense a bit more. But I want to see what we're capable of away from home. Please don't consider free kick straight off the bat. Oh dear. It's so difficult. These damn set pieces. I've been looking at different set piece instructions. Like corners we're generally okay with, but the problem I found is that I don't know, has anyone figured out a way to score goals and stop conceding goals from free kicks? Because we do concede a lot, and I don't just mean like the direct free kicks. Nothing you can do about those other than not conceding fouls. I mean more the sort of those type, the set piece style free kicks. Well, we're not getting a lot of this ball at all, and that is going to be an issue for us. Out wide, Marku. Just put attack. Chris Staffy inside, and oh my god, the goalkeeping. It's 2-0. God damn it, we have started off exactly as I feared. Jesus. Like, we find a tactic that kind of works, and then we don't really get a chance to test it out. And I mean, what is this for goalkeeping? It's poor. It's poor. We're going to try and just up it a little bit to more controlled. I feel like we could be on the end of an absolute hammering here, and that's a big, big mistake. Ball across the box, and good save. Good save. That's better, but we're not looking better, that is for sure. I'm tempted to drop a little deeper, actually. Maybe that'll stop them from getting in behind us as much, but we're already 2 goals down. I believe they are one of the better teams in this division, from what I've been led to believe. I think they were pretty close to getting promoted last year, so it's not quite so embarrassing. But we do need to try and come up with results. Home form is going to be absolutely crucial for us this season, no doubt. It's going to be vital. I'm trying to think, what do we change? What do we change? Do we close down less to keep our shape a little bit more, maybe? Retaining possession isn't working at the moment, but that being said, what other choice have we got? You know, if we lose, but wow, that's quite a startling change. Just like, maybe if we could look for the overlap. They've pushed their fullbacks back a little bit. Not their fullbacks, their wingers back, because they're going to have to defend. And if we could get men forward a bit quicker, we're already playing quite a high tempo, then maybe that could do the trick. It is difficult, as you guys know from managing at this kind of level. It is difficult, but I just feel like we're slowly starting to find a formation that works. But obviously we've entered a completely different realm now. We've gone from being a team that can dominate or have the potential to with the right system to a team that are going to struggle. And so it obviously means you do have to adapt thusly, and that is going to be about how we adapt. You know, I don't know whether Lugero should be playing as an anchor man. I preferred him as the halfback, but he is just not really set up for that kind of role, unfortunately, and that's kind of the problem. We might try that though. Things aren't working for us. I'm tempted to put him as a halfback again, just to see if that makes any difference, because this system seems to work better when they have a halfback. Whether that'll make any difference or not is a completely different matter, but who should we go with? I'm going to go with... We've got quite a lot of quality on this left-hand side. Obviously, we don't have anyone in the centre midfield, but we do have Apostolou who could possibly play in there. Yeah, I'm actually going to make that change. Lugero hasn't really convinced me much today. See what this lad's going to be doing. I don't know, I just preferred it with the halfback. It's hard, you know, at this level, sometimes they're so specialised that we've sort of limited them a little bit, but we do need to try and offer something ourselves, and I think it's at this point that we need to sort of step things up a little bit. It is difficult to know what to do, of course. Let's have a few more shots. Let's just try and get some shots. We've certainly get a little bit more of possession, which is good. But obviously that's going to sort of falter a little when we start taking more shots, you'd feel, because we're giving the ball back to them from doing it. But at this stage, I don't really know what else we can do. It's certainly not been an ideal start, but... Hello, here we go. If we can make this 2-1, I would certainly feel a bit more confident. Tavro, ball in. Cavlias, apologies for that, guys. I don't even know what happened there. The recording just cut off. We did score, as you can see. We have equalised. Not equalised. Tavro's ball in. My computer just completely shut off. Not shut off, but like FM minimised, and that stopped the recording. I don't know why it minimised. But there we go. We're back in this. It's 2-1. That's better. We look a little bit more sprightly. You know, it's not been an embarrassing performance. Ooh. It's not been the best, but I don't know, I feel there's some positives here. It's only a 2-1 defeat, and it's against a relatively good side, and I'm not entirely disappointed with them. I mean, I suppose we should, but performance-wise, perhaps. And we got the man of the match as well. Cipriano was the man of the match in this game, and that says a lot for me. If we're losing a game and getting the man of the match award, I think in the second half we massively improved once we took the halfback off. Put the halfback back in. Made that role what it was. And yeah, I think a couple of little changes and the system might actually be able to wield some fruit or bear some fruit for us. Apologies for the slight cut off there. You'll have missed a bit of the recording because it takes a couple of seconds for it to restart itself automatically, unfortunately. So there wasn't really much I could do about that. So that's a shame. So apologies you actually missed the goal live, which is a pain in the ass, but as you can see, we did actually manage to score it. So let's just take a little look at the way the league is. There's 26 games. So 13 at home, 13 away, which is fine, nice and easy. And the problem is 4 relegation places. That's going to be the issue for us. You know, I feel we're good enough to certainly not finish bottom of this league. The issue is going to be we have to come 10th in this division to stay up, and that is tough. And that is such a large amount of relegation places. Season preview. Let's just take a look at where we're expected to finish. We look at 5,000 to 1. I mean, we are so much the underdog, it is not even real. I mean, that's crazy. If we do anything in this league, I'll be very impressed. But, you know, I feel like we've got enough to maybe do something. You just never know. We're a professional team. Let's just go for it. We've scored a goal today. I don't know. We'll just have to see, guys. So, with that in mind, let's pick our next game. Who should we go against? I'm not entirely sure. Should we maybe do the cup match against Coke? No, that's not a team, is it? What are you talking about, Matt? Or should we do the Carmiotissa game? Let's do the Carmiotissa game for our next episode. So, guys, I know this has been a lot to take in this episode, and I know there's been quite a lot of progress made, and hopefully you're still with me on this one. I know it's a little bit not even disjointed. I'm trying to keep it as together as possible. But again, got a little tweaks for the system. Do let me know in the comments. Obviously, I'll be a few episodes down the line by the time that comes out, but you know, I can still take it into account, and you know, maybe I'll have figured it out on my own by then, but maybe it will be the missing link that I'm missing. We certainly are improving, I feel. Things are getting there slowly. So guys, if you like what you've seen, please do drop a like on the video, and if you'd like to even more than that, please subscribe to my channel for more Red Star and Outcast icons in your inbox every single day at 5:30 and 8 o'clock, and I will see you guys in the next episode for the Carmiotissa game, where hopefully we can get ourselves some points on the board, because we've got 3 home games in between there. Must wins for us, no doubt. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.